Alright guys, so after my first tutorial, a lot of people asked me to make another video talking about more of kind of what to do in game, I guess, so strategies for mid-level sort of gameplay. So I still, it seemed like, I mean, people are interested in extra ultimates, but the people that were asking, it didn't seem like they were so concerned with extra ultimates yet, but like what to do with these mid-level crafts. So ultimates maybe, but mostly just your tier 2 crafts, what to do in game. So I guess before I talk about that, I'll just do a quick little recap of the basics in case people want to hear that first. So here we go. Iron Pack is good. Eve's Temptation is good. Use Bow Kit. These books are good. These books are also good. Pandora's Box is overpowered. You need Light Anvil. Use Bow Kit. Don't use Leather Kit. Use Bow Kit. Alright, so now that you're an expert on the basics, we're going to get into the mid-level sort of tactics. So by far the most popular tactic would be iron rushing. So basically what iron rushing is, it's what it sounds like. You try and get full iron before grace period ends. Ideally you would make these books and find some sugar cane and be able to put prot on your armor and get sharpness. The whole idea of it is getting your stuff ready to go before everyone else does. So you want to be full iron, have all your arrows, have your books if you got them, and then try and kill some leathers or people who just didn't have time to get iron. So right as that 10 minutes is up, you should be looking for players, trying to get as many kills as you can early on, and then once you get those kills, start making your Pandora's boxes and hope for some good stuff. Like if you get a flame book, power 4, sharp 4, then you just keep snowballing from there. So you're kind of basing it, or the game, on chance, whether or not you get something good from these P boxes. But worst case scenario, you get a couple of kills and then you die and you start over. So you're always going to get some action, so it is fun. Definitely a lot more enjoyable than caving all game. But yeah, for people who don't usually play UHC on Hypixel, it might sound stupid because, say on Bad Lion or on Reddit, iron rushing doesn't really make much sense because you're probably going to run into some enchanted people with tons of diamond first, so you have no way to get stacked unless you either clean up or somehow kill the guy while you're under geared. So it's a lot riskier in other servers, but in Hypixel you can do it because you have these crafts. So you can get enchanted without getting in E-table, and you can get good gear from Pandora's box. So yeah, iron rushing is a lot more rewarding than on other servers. I would recommend it. It's probably the easiest thing to do and probably the most entertaining because all you're trying to do is get kills as quickly as possible. Now, with that being said, if you're iron rushing, what I do, if I'm iron rushing, but when I find a cave, it goes down to Y11 and it looks like it's a really good cave, just don't worry about iron rushing. Like, you found a good cave, so take advantage of that. But that doesn't always happen, so you can either iron rush or just look for a good cave. So that's typically the two things that I do most often. And if you find a good cave and you start getting some diamond, you can consider going to the nether, making pots. Typically if I cave for that long, I want to get as stacked as possible before coming up because other people probably were iron rushing and potentially got stacked off their P boxes, so you got to be ready for that. But if you are planning on iron rushing, and it takes more than 10 minutes at that point, well, maybe not more than 10 minutes. If you're caving for more than 15 minutes for full iron, you might as well just go down and cave the rest of the game, because it's too late at that point. All the leathers are probably dead, and it could work out, but I mean, that's the most important part of iron rushing, is making sure you get stacked quickly. So if you have bad luck with caves and don't get iron right away, don't just try anyway. I would suggest trying to get stacked a different way by caving. So the other sort of popular ways, I guess, are rushing your crafts. So with ultimates, a pretty popular ultimate to rush is Dragon Armor. So that requires a slime ball. So if you start Looter, does Looter 1 have a slime ball? Yeah, Looter 1 has a slime ball, but so yeah, that way you're guaranteed a slime ball every game. They're not very common items to get, so I wouldn't rush just this. Normally, if you're gonna try and rush items like that, you gotta have more than one for it to be worth it. Plus, if you start Looter, you're not gonna have string for a bow unless your teammates are level 3 and give you their string. But yeah, if you rush Dragon Armor with a Dragon Sword and then put some sharpness on that Dragon Sword, you're gonna do pretty well that game. So Dragon Armor's Prot 4 Diamond Chestplate, and then your Dragon Sword, say you make it Sharp 2, then it's basically like you have a Sharp 3 Diamond Sword with a Prot 4 Diamond Chestplate. So it could technically be guaranteed if you have Looter to do this, because the other resources are pretty easy to get. I mean, obviously 8 diamond isn't easy, but the whole idea of rushing your crafts is you're just going to cave until you get what you need. And then when you come out of the cave, you're going to be pretty stacked. So it's not a bad combination. Later when you do get your extra ultimates, if you get Tablets of Destiny, you can put tablets on that Dragon Sword, and then it'll be a Sharp 3 Fire 2 Dragon Sword and Dragon Armor. And that will win a lot of games. That's a very good strategy, but tablets is pretty expensive, so you guys might not quite be there just yet. But armor smithing and weaponsmithing aren't too bad to max out, so you could still go Dragon Armor, Dragon Chestplate, or Dragon Sword, sorry. As far as the other extra ultimates, no other ultimates are really worth rushing. 7 Leagues would also be good with that other combination of gear, but you're dependent on getting a Ender Pearl. So there's no guarantee that's going to happen, and there's no kit you can start out with to get an Ender Pearl. But you just gotta make sure you try and listen for Endermen, because 7 Leagues are great. Prot 3 Diamond Boots with Feather Falling 3 also. So if you could get 7 Leagues, Dragon Sword, Dragon Chestplate, then it's going to be pretty hard to kill you. Someone's going to have to be extremely stacked to kill you. And then at that point, if you were caving really well, I'd say it's reasonable to do that in 20 minutes. I mean, the boots are kind of luck whether or not, or they're in here, whether or not you get the Ender Pearl. But even if it takes you 30 minutes to get all that stuff, you're going to be more stacked than most people are in the game after 30 minutes. Unless someone's at 0-0 getting tons of kills, you should be fine. But yeah, so iron rushing, just caving, and going for specific crafts are basically your 3 options. I mean, nether rushing without caving is also an option. If you just iron rush but want to take the time to go to the nether and get pots, that can be good. I would say that's not really worth it unless you also get poison pots, I mean, pots are good, but if you're just iron armor, you're still not that stacked if you have like speed and strength pots. But poison pots are a game changer. The most important thing is just to remember what crafts you have. Try not to forget about things. There are a lot of crafts and it is easy to forget, but most of the crafts are kind of situational. Like, where is it? Alchemy. No, yeah, nectar. Nectar is something a lot of people either forget that they have or just don't really know about. But it only costs 2 gold, an emerald, a melon, and a glass bottle, and it gives you 8 hearts of regen. So it's very cheap regen, but it's not something you can make every game. You just have to remember to hold on to melons and emeralds when you get them. A lot of people throw out a lot of helpful things, like say you looted a village or you killed a guy that had some obsidian. Most people are like, I don't have diamonds, I'm not going to make an E-table, so I'm just going to toss this obsidian out. But obsidian is needed for dragon sword, dragon armor, E-tables. It's important. I've found villages with obsidian still in their chests, and it amazes me that people don't take stuff like that. You just gotta remember what you have, like saddles. I guess most people know about that by now. Potions of velocity, a lot of people don't make. There's jungles on maps a lot, and I mean, this is a really cheap recipe. If you find a jungle, you just need 1 cocoa bean, 1 sugar, and a glass bottle, and you have speed 3 pots. Like, that's really good, but it's stuff people just forget about. So that's the most important thing, I would say, is just remembering all of the crafts, because not everything's going to come up every game, but a lot of people throw out stuff that they could use to make these good things, but they just forget about. If you want more detail about anything, feel free to comment, and I will answer all the questions you guys have. If you want me to post a video showing any of these either item rushes or just iron rushing, feel free to ask. I'll do it. Didn't really seem necessary for iron rushing since it's pretty simple, but I'll just give you a little rundown of what I do when I'm iron rushing. So I prestige engineering. It's pretty cheap, so with that I have 4 iron packs. So I usually try and get 40 iron when I'm caving, so that way I can do 4 iron packs, smelt the other 8. I'll have 48 iron. I make all my iron armor, iron sword, iron bucket. I make an anvil, go look for some sugar cane, and I'm usually partially enchanted by the time Grace is over. Go get some kills, make P-boxes, make some healing with, I get nuggets from Hunter. Since I have Hunter maxed, I get 10 nuggets per kill, plus more if I'm teaming with other people that have that perk. So, and then from there you just keep snowballing. So hopefully you get something good from P-box, whether it's healing or books, and then just keep snowballing. Make sure, well, I make sure I go bow kit because I like to bow. I have it maxed so I'm guaranteed 60 arrows every game. If you don't like bow, then if you're not going to use the bow, I would recommend getting max stone tools, or going looter for the slime and rushing dragon armor. But max stone tools really helps with caving. You can get a lot of diamond quickly because you can just go nuts caving at Y11. The only other thing I can think of is if you're trying these and you're still not doing well, the problem might just be you need to practice your PvP, and playing UHC is not the way to do that. If you need to practice your PvP, you need to play some other game types. Blitz is probably the best. I mean, I haven't played all the game types, so I might not be the best person to ask which game type to play, but at least of the ones I've played, Blitz or maybe Crazy Walls is the most PvP intensive, so at least PvP that would be close to what you're doing in UHC. I mean, obviously some of these other games you're going to PvP a lot, but Vampires isn't going to help you very much with UHC. So either play Blitz or do some arena PvP on a different server. Probably either 1v1s on Bad Lion, or if you went to a free-for-all arena somewhere and just practiced in a UHC free-for-all arena. That would be a really good way to improve your PvP, and then come back and test out what you learned in here. Another way to improve your PvP is just go on YouTube, watch some good players, see what they do, and kind of try and imitate them. But yeah, so that's the end of my video. If you're struggling in UHC still, just don't give up, keep practicing. Everyone had to start somewhere, so I know my kill death was below 1 when I first started, so like anything, when you first start, you're going to struggle, but just keep practicing, keep figuring out ways to improve what you're doing, start caving more efficiently, getting your tools quickly, just practice getting ready before Grace, and practice your PvP, and in no time you will be a UHC champion. I'm a warlord, I'm not a champion. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next one.